to be out here having multiple partners because I don't do nothing anyway. I go do
Then what do you mean it's too cracking right now for you to want to have a relationship?
because I like my peace. First of all,
What if a woman brings you that?
There's no such thing as that.
You don't think there's no such thing as a woman bringing
There's
man
no
peace?
such thing as somebody living with you on a day-to-day basis is bringing peace. It's always going to be something because you're going to have a bad day where I'll have a good day, and that's not going to be peaceful for me. I'm going to come home like, damn, baby, like I had a good... Something going to happen to where you going to hijack my emotions. So that's not peaceful. You feel me? Peace is peace. And peace is me by myself. I come home, I watch TV, I make my own food, I go to bed, I work out, I wake up at 5:30, I roll over in the bed, I lean this way, I fart, whatever I do, whatever, in my bed, that's peace. I'm cool. I can let loud snore, whatever. I ain't got nobody complaining about nothing.
Yeah, and I do feel you on that. Even as a woman, for
feel
me,
me?
no, I feel you. Even as a woman, it's like I have my stuff where I want it. I have my clothes where I want it. I put my stuff in the bathroom.
When I come home, you move my charger, and I'm looking for my charger. Like, where my charger at? Like, damn. Like, oh, I took it. Like damn. Like, come on, man.
So that podcast has been out for a month, and it really fascinated me because it's a unique take, and I've never heard anybody say that before. A woman can't bring you peace. A woman can't be your peace. I had to go back and listen just so I could quote it verbatim. She said, what if a woman brings you peace? He said, that's not possible. Never heard anybody say that's not possible. Now, the take that I'm on record having is that when it comes to being a man's peace or bringing a man peace, the reason that is valuable is because women are chaotic. They love drama. They love to spice things up. They love to throw a wrench in the fucking cogwheel and stuff like that, which we'll get into some examples of that in a moment. But for them, and that's something they naturally, innately do. It's just an urge that they have. That's just who they are as a being. That's a part of the feminine essence. So for them to go against that on a consistent basis definitely takes a lot of effort, and it's actually beneficial to the man. But first, let's talk about what peace looks like. We could just say peace is peace, but peace looks like you being able to have a night at the crib without hearing any complaints, without being nagged about anything. Being able to play the game or do whatever you do on a computer or watch whatever entertainment, football game or whatever you want to watch and not be bothered by somebody who is jealous of something that is taking up your time. And even if they do have concerns in that realm, the way that they could express those concerns is soft, non-confrontational, and not demanding. And if you decide that, yo, I understand you need time, I'll do what I could do for you. But as far as this video game or whatever I'm doing, I just need 2 hours. I just need an hour. I just spend $500-600 on this joint, man. I gotta use it, whatever the case may be. And you could be building Star Wars, whatever. You could be working on your other business. You could be doing whatever you're doing. But whatever you decide to do, you need that time. She is understanding. She lets you have that time. You do your thing, and she don't go crazy, and she don't start doing passive aggressive stuff. What peace looks like is her not expecting you to be a mind reader. Her communicating what she actually needs, how she actually feels, and not saying, oh, you're just acting real fucking standoffish. And then you ask, yo, what's wrong? And she says nothing. And all of that shit that you deal with in a relationship that you see on TV, that you've probably seen in your own life in person, that comedians talk about, things that every guy all over the planet deals with when it comes to women. We could get into the catering aspect and stuff like that, but we're not going to go that far. We're not going to go that deep. As far as just a general baseline, it's very simple. At no turn are you causing me stress and problems. You were supposed to be a stress reliever, and that helps empower me to be the best man I can be when I go out into the stressful world. And when I come home, it's time to decompress all of that stuff, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to get yelled at because you like to keep the towel on the left hand side of the fucking sink or whatever hanging off the fucking cabinet, and I put it on the right side, and you like, oh, I got this shit coordinated a certain way, and you want to yell and be like, motherfucker, I done told you 6 times, all that shit. I don't want to have an unnecessary fucking argument because you are really turned up and standoffish about how I put the toilet paper in. You want it to be under, but I don't give a fuck about that, so I put it over. And we might have had 1 or 2 conversations about it, but this time it's time to go nuclear. Like, come on, man. Like, this is not shit worth getting crazy over, especially if I'm living up to certain standards and roles and et cetera, et cetera. I'm doing my part. And even in the my part thing is subjective because it depends on what the relationship requires and what the woman requires and things like that. We could just go to basics, protect and provide and all of that stuff. But the thing is, at the end of the day, the women choose. The women choose. She chooses first. If she is attracted to you, if she is going to let you have consent to have sex and all of that stuff, et cetera, et cetera. She has to like you enough to not only give you the coochie, but to want a relationship out of you. So if she chose to be in a relationship with you, to some extent, she thought you were a winner already. So it's like you picked who you got with. But the thing about women is the bar is never just set and that's it. The bar is always an elevating bar. I mean, you look at somebody like Bill Gates and how his wife was disrespecting him and how they got that divorce and all of that stuff. You could be the greatest man in the world. You could be one of the richest men in the world. You could be one of the best providers, and they'll still find the flaws in you. It's just never enough. You got to understand that when it comes to women. So that all plays into peace and stuff like that and what peace looks like. But you have to remember, like I mentioned, women are chaotic. What does the chaos of women look like? Well, one of the things is starting arguments for no reason. The need for drama in their life, right? You being out with them somewhere, and that could be between you and her, right? Y'all being out somewhere and her not liking something as far as something somebody else did or somebody said, and turning it into a problem, turning it into a back and forth, turning it into a confrontation that if you were out by yourself, you wouldn't have this confrontation, you know? But she's doing it while she's out here with you, whether it be with another man, a waitress, or another woman. Like, she's just having this confrontation, this conflict, and now you got to get in protection mode and deal with a problem that she's creating or escalating. Chaos looks like 1 minute, she's very loving, kind, supportive, just all of this stuff like nurturing, cuddles and smiles, and everything is great, everything is grand. But out of nowhere, for no reason, unprovoked, she begins to act either very standoffish, very cold, very distant, et cetera, et cetera. You got to figure out what's going on. Or she just turns all the way the fuck up, gets aggressive, starts getting mad at you, starts berating you about whatever the fuck came to her mind. And it'd be some benign shit. It'd be something stupid. Chaos looks like her trying to create problems where there ain't none. Like trying to look through your phone or saying, why is you liking this girl post? And the post don't even be nothing sexual. It's like this chick is making sandwiches, or she just said something about, oh man, fucking Kevin Durant is looking to go to the Spurs. That's crazy. Something like that. Like something that isn't even, like, why would you try to make an issue out of this? Telling you that you liked a bunch of a chick's posts, and then you actually screenshot or do a phone recording and go through all the chick's posts for the past week, and you only like 2. That's a great true story example of a chick trying to create a problem that isn't there. Chaos looks like shit tests. You heard of that? Or congruence testing, whatever word you want to use, all of that. And if you don't know what that's like, I'll give you a couple examples. Here's just a basic one. Boom. A chick disrespects you in some way, shape, or form, whether it be subtly or overtly. And this is a chick that you were involved with. She says something like, go fetch me some water, boy. You have to check that. You have to check that. And the reason you have to check that is because whether she's doing it deliberately or it's just something subliminal that she's doing, because women do this shit all the time. You have to check it because it sets a tone that is how she's going to treat you moving forward if you accept that. And then she actually loses respect for you. But if you check her, she gains respect for you in a lot of cases. Now, women do this so much that everybody talks about this, whether you in pickup, red pill, you don't even got to be in this shit. You don't got to be none of this shit to recognize that this is what women do. You don't got to be a part of the manosphere at all. And it's people who are sitting in bars who never consume none of this internet content, who are at work, who can identify, yeah, women be testing niggas, all this stuff, right? Or be testing men. So that's something that men can universally identify all over the planet. So this is something that women do in abundance. Men don't innately test women or just even deliberately test women in mass. There are guys, if a guy is doing that, he is like some motherfucking like super gamey ass nigga. A man is not testing a woman off instinct. When a man tests a woman, it is absolutely 100% conscious and deliberate. And he has thought this through. Somebody could have gave him the idea. It could be something that he pulled off a bunch of times or that he came up with himself. But that's how we test women. Like, we test women deliberately if it ever happens. And most men are not testing women. It's just not something we do. If we were testing women, it would be a constant narrative that you would see in these female dating coach spaces and stuff. That's never the case. So it's just a women thing. Now, I could keep going. You know I could keep going. Matter of fact, we'll do one more. What chaos looks like is you having relationship problems, whatever they may be, and your girl taking it to the salon, taking it to her friends and her whole friend group and stuff like that. So, boom, now your business begins to fucking spread around the city and stuff like that, whether it be you got erectile dysfunction or you know, you don't want to get another dog, whatever the case may be, or does she think you don't make enough money, whatever the case may be. But this is the other thing. It don't stop there. Another place where it can go, she gets on the fucking internet with it. Now, one of the worst things she could do is go to the local internet with it so everybody knows now that you a broke motherfucker, you can't pay no bills, you don't take care of your kids, whatever the case may be. Even if none of that is true. You just said something like, no, I'm not paying for your nursing school tuition. Now you a broke ass nigga and you don't take care of your kids. And you never there for your kids. And you ain't never done nothing for her. You ain't never spent no money on her. Meanwhile, this is what you did for her last Valentine's Day, all the roses and flowers and stuff like that. And it's June. You did this in February. And let me do a sub one under this, point that I'm making right now. Chaos looks like I do something for you and you find something grand for you and you find a way to be unappreciative. I was having a conversation with a chick and we was talking about, if a dude was to buy one of these setups to where they have somebody else come in and decorate the room, they pay for them to come and decorate the hotel room that all of this stuff is about to happen in, as far as this Valentine's Day or birthday celebration type shit, the romantic shit. The chick said, I wouldn't like none of it. I wouldn't give him no credit for it. If I find out he didn't do it himself, I'll be mad because you didn't do it yourself. It wasn't no thought put into this. It's the thought that count. Blah, fucking blah, fucking blah, fucking blah. And it's like, bruh, a nigga don't want to go and buy 18 balloons and fucking take it. Like, especially if you got a nigga that's making money and got a life. Like, no man wants to do this shit, bro. The fact that we are even paying somebody to do it should be appreciated. But this is the thing. A lot of women don't appreciate nothing that you do for. Nothing. Nothing. So again, that's what chaos looks like. But let's go back to the example that I was making. The worst thing that could happen, you and her are having a relationship problem, and she goes and takes it to fucking TikTok, where fucking relationships go to die, where relationships go to get exposed, where, okay, now your coworkers, everybody on the planet knows what's going on in your relationship. Everybody knows that y'all going through turmoil, and your bitch turned it into a 16-part series because she love attention. So that's what chaos looked like. Now, if it was a man thing and we were talking about a man doing all this shit, what would it be? Because we're not hardwired to do any of the shit that I just mentioned. It would be very simple. It would be, listen, bruh, don't be a cunt. Don't be a dickhead. Don't be an asshole. It would be that simple. But you got to shoot women a little bail because of not just how they're hardwired, but how society's universally raised them and turn them into solipsistic people. So now that you have that grand understanding as far as what chaos looks like and how a chick bringing you peace is just her going against her chaotic nature and trying to, and doing all the other stuff the women are supposed to do that I didn't even really get too deep into, but just really fighting against the nature to create chaos, drama, turmoil, all of that stuff within your life. And even while she's around you in her life. And that's the thing, like, very quickly, if you were talking to a chick and she is always going through such, she is just always in some shit, that should be a simple red flag for you to see. And that's something you should actually be scoping for. Does she actually live a peaceful life? Does she always got problems with some other motherfuckers? And this is the thing. Me keeping it so real, most chicks don't have a lot of problems with other people going on in their life. Like, most of them, I would say from my experience, don't. But that doesn't mean, outside of that, because that's one thing, to have a bunch of drama with other people, that's something that, you know, there is a lot of drama amongst chicks and stuff like that, but I feel like the majority stay out of it. Or if they get entangled into it, you know, it's because of one person in a circle. And this is the thing. There are chicks who are actual fire starters, right? You've probably met a fire starting chick in your life. A perfect example that I could give you is a chick who pretty much pitted two dudes that I know against each other by going back and forth and talking to one person. And I seen, it was a nigga that I knew that did this shit too, man. This shit is some hoe shit, but they'll talk to one person about, you know, okay, let me break it down like this. So there's a girl in the middle. She will talk to guy A about guy B. Guy B may or may not say something, right? She goes back to guy B and says, so-and-so is talking about you, doesn't say nothing that she said. And then even then, if the other dude didn't say some shit, she feel like, oh, I'm just beating him to the punch, or I'm just causing drama, whatever, because I know he gonna go tell, party B about what's going on. So people who stir up drama like that, that's not something that is normal to where most chicks are doing that. So that's a fire starter. Like, there is one in a lot of female circles, but that's not most women. There are some bitch ass niggas like that too, but we not going to unpack that because it's unnecessary. But the thing that a lot of chicks do have going on outside of that is that they life be in turmoil. It's a lot. It be in shambles. They be losing custody of their kids. They be on drugs. They be alcoholics. You know, they don't be having no car. They on an air mattress. They just all the way fucked. They done got fired from 2 jobs. They failing drug tests. They don't want to work. Section 8 queens in some cases. Like, so those are the types of things you got to look for as well, of course, because those things come from a lack of discipline. They come from a lot of different things, because losing your custody of your kids, I think that's more than just discipline, but we're not going to go that deep today. But there's a lot there to where she's going to be a liability in your life that is going to absolutely cause drama. And that's the understanding that you need to have. So you need to scope for things like that. And don't be so quick to overlook them and just be so accepting and stuff like that. Certain stuff you could deal with, but if it's too many things going on, it's like, come on, man. Come on, man. It's no way she could be your piece, because she can't even be her own piece. She can't even create a peaceful environment for herself. We all go through shit, right? But God, if you going through too much shit, it's like, bro, you need to get that shit together. And if you constantly having social problems, there's nothing we could do with that or about that. That's you. That's you. And even if you want to say it's not you, it's the people around you dragging you into, like, how do I expect to not get into any of that shit? Like, how do I expect to just, bruh, perfect example on that, it be chicks like that who I don't be close to or nothing like that, but they go to the bars and, you know, in some cases, they'll get in fights or they'll cause a man, sneaky link or whatever to get in the fights at the bar. So with all of that being said, like we know what chaos looks like. We know what peace looks like. And with Paul Pierce saying, like, it's not possible for a woman to be your peace. What he's saying is there's always going to eventually be a problem if you were living with somebody. That's what he's saying. I don't think that's necessarily true because I have had roommates that I've lived with, or a roommate, just one, that I lived with to where me and that person didn't have no problems. The other roommates I've had, we have had just a few problems, but not anything super explosive. Stuff that we couldn't get over, stuff that was like, oh, we got to move out. And most of the time it was peaceful, cordial, cool. Everything was great. So if we just talking about people, I think that it is possible, but, you know, expecting just a little bit of problems that, you know, at some point, just very rarely that comes with the territory of just dealing with people in general. I expect that. But as far as what I'm saying, based off what he said, if you are living with a woman or you are, you know, with a woman, just period, as far as just being in a relationship and y'all live in separate places, which I absolutely recommend that it don't move in too fast. But if that's the situation, either one of those, you know, it takes effort for a chick to not bring drama to your life or just chaos, turmoil and stuff like that, or just any type of tension on a weekly and monthly basis. It takes effort for them to be peaceful and to turn their life into something to where they have their own peace. It takes effort for them to be an asset instead of a liability. But the thing about peace is that women are chaotic. So when he said that's not possible, to some degree, that is a better expectation to have. That is a better expectation to have, because if you just look at the nature of women and who they are and all the examples that I mentioned, you would be better off expecting that, because that is the most likely case. It's likely that this woman, that most women, will not bring you peace. It's just the most likely thing. And if you can accept that, if you can say, yo, if I get with a woman and I get into a relationship, I'm going to be able to get sex. I'm going to have companionship. I'm going to have company. I'm going to have, you know, somebody who's going to support me if I vet for all of those things. Da, 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 da. But the one thing I'm not going to have, and that I shouldn't expect, and that I'm going to have to fight for, is peace. If that is what you look at, then you have a more realistic outlook on what you're getting into. And you could be better prepared to deal with it when it comes time to dealing with a woman. Because if you come in and you just think, oh man, a woman is supposed to be my peace, and that's bruh, that might, especially in this era, that might not be something you find. And that is how come people are like, oh man, I got to get passports and stuff like that. Because if you get you one of them mail order bride ass chicks, yeah, they're going to be fucking with you for the money. Yeah, they're going to be fucking with you because you can get them back to the land of the free. Yeah, they're going to be fucking with you because they expect a life of leisure to some degree. But the difference is the culture. They are still women. They are still going to be chaotic to some degree. But the thing is, they are going to be more in check depending on where you get them from. And they are going to be better at being an asset. They're going to be much, much better at being an asset instead of a liability. And that is because of how they were raised and blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. So we're done for today, man. Let me know your thoughts on this whole topic. I am gone.